again. Week number 5. This is the Shaxe and Helen show, coming to you live from Bloemfontein. We are coming to you from the Boho Bistro, corner of Kellner and 2nd Avenue.
Welcome to the show. Good afternoon to you. And I go by the name Shaxe Khumalo.
Yes, find him on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. At Shaxe Khumalo is the name to look for. And I go by the name Miss Helen. You can find me at Miss Helen_N. That Miss MS.
MS, isn't MISS, couple of misses.
You know, I try to keep it short.
Now, last week, there's something that came up, right? We talked about this in passing.
Yeah.
We learned of something called GFE, which stands for Girlfriend Experience.
Yeah.
So we thought we should actually take it upon ourselves to share with you and educate you more as to exactly what GFE stands for.
And if you listen to the definition, actually, I mean, we know it by so many other different terms. Some call them sugar babies, some call it the whole phase, some call them the blessed.
All I can say is there's so many things that people are doing behind the scenes, or should I say in hotels and bedrooms, that we know nothing of. And because of the internet, we get to learn about them. So today we are going to educate you what the term GFE stands for.
I think, though, I won't go as far as saying that we know nothing about, because we all know what happens in the dark in
it's happening,
this
but
street.
We didn't know there's a title for it, actually.
Yeah. So what is the girlfriend experience?
And if you want, you may as well Google it in case you think we are bullshitting you. GFE, check it out for yourself.
It's an actual thing.
We will share with you what we gotten to get for you. So the first one I have here, Helen, it says the girlfriend experience, GFE, is a commercial experience that blurs the boundaries between a financial transaction and a romantic relationship.
Within the sex industry, the GFE, it's a common term for a sexual encounter in which both the escort and the client are willing to engage in a reciprocal sexual pleasure. And what's different about the girlfriend experience is it's not just a financial transaction. It goes as far as emotional intimacy.
Exactly.
So it's an
I think
actual
that somewhere
relationship
later
as well.
on when they mentioned but prostitution isn't the same thing.
Well, I mean, with prostitution, it's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, I pay you. With the girlfriend experience, we're actually having we have conversation, we cuddle and things, but you still pay me for my
And you can go home the next morning, by the way.
Oh, hell, you can go home the same night.
All right, this one here says the girlfriend experience generally involves more personal interaction than a traditional call girl or escort offers. So I assume if the wife at home is boring you, you can have that girl who shares the girlfriend experience with you.
Who revs your engine? Or who gets things working? You know, gets the vrpa moving. And of course, this isn't just limited to females. We also have a boyfriend experience, because we tend to think that this is all exclusively females. But you have a lot of guys who, they call it gay for pay, straight men who have sex with other men for some chankuras. And you also do have gay men who are involved in the whole boyfriend experience with other men. And you have straight men who are involved in such relationships with women, older women.
Right. So basically, you're saying to me that you can find a straight guy, and he's curious to actually have this boyfriend experience, and he may engage in this kind of behavior.
I don't necessarily think it's a curiosity. I think it's more, I need some money, so let me try get it. Let me do what I need to do to get some. Listen, you'd be surprised what people are willing to do for money. If you have bills that are piling up, you've got rent that needs to pay, would you not bend over for a few sankuras so that
I wouldn't. We've heard stories, though, that it's a very common practice. It happens a lot. With some people, it's actually so serious that the wives even know about it.
Exactly.
It's business transactions. She knows the big house she stays in, how it's been paid for. All right. There's one point you missed here, by the way, Helen. It says also on the GFE discussion, the girlfriend experience, it says there is a focus on not just having sex, but also having more of a comprehensive experience. But now I'm thinking, how do you obviously this transaction doesn't happen between, it's not like a typical prostitute, right?
Yeah.
So you are a normal girl. Do I come to you and say, Helen, would you be keen to be involved with me with the GFE?
Well, I suppose there needs to be some type of understanding between me and between you as my partner.
Where do I find this girl who's willing to take
Look,
part
I
in the
suppose
GFE?
it's the same thing. Where do you find a sugar baby? I mean, you can walk down the street in 2nd Avenue and you can pick them up in a club. And you build from there, and I suppose the relationship becomes a girlfriend/boyfriend experience. But this is something that's also giving wives sleepless nights. Some are having sleepless nights, and some are actually thanking their good Lord that there's somebody out there, younger and fresher, who can rev the engine. Speaking of which...
Revving the engine.
Rev.
Okay, so we had this argument earlier about some people claiming that the next clip or audio clip was not made in Lesotho. From the accent that we picked up, we believe this was made by Emewa Mosotho, proudly so, by the way. What's it called again? The title of that clip?
The title is called Tapelo ya Dikoma.
Correction.
That's what it's called.
It's not Tapelo ya Dikoma. It's Tapelo ya Dikoma. There's a difference.
Bad. You know my tongue is half white.
The difference between Dikoma and Koma. You know, Dikoma is that thing your granny smokes snuff from. Yeah, that's that one.
Oh, okay.
So now, this one is, yes, Koma, a dick, a.k.a. a penis, okay?
Oh, as Prince KB's mom would say, Tswibi.
Yes. This woman here is praying, has a prayer about her husband's or her man's Koma. All right? And we have to share this with you right now, so please take a listen.
Se monate tse kotang ha monate ntate modimo di hlonolofatse modimo hore di kena dikukung tsa rona fela modimo di skebe tsa kena dikukung tsa matekatse ntate ga leboa mogana le modimo ka hobane ga di notlela re le basadi ka mona ka khupung ya bophelo ba lenyalo ntate di tsebe ho kena ho rona fela modimo ntate ga di notlela di notlolwa fela ha di kena ho rona ha di kena ho basadi ba bang di tla swaba mogana le modimo ka lebitso la Jesu ntate ga leboa hlehedi monate ntate ga leboa ka ditlhonolofatso tsa hao tsa ho kotana ntate ga leboa modimo ke tlhonolofatso e fetang dikuku tsa lenyalo ntate a tshega leboa ntate he a tshega iteboela modimo amen.
Spicy. I'm telling you, I laughed throughout. But that takes us actually to today's poll.
Yes.
So we talked about girlfriend experiences. Some called it the whole phase. So if you head on over to our Twitter page, which is at Shaxe and Helen FB, we put up our poll today, which is, have you gone through the whole phase? Option 1, yes, who hasn't? 2, no. 3, what's that? And currently, our poll is as follows. 49% of you have gone through the whole phase, 32% no, and 19% asking what's that? And I have to ask, is that 19% asking legit, or is this a, do I just not want to answer?
Has anyone gone through that? Like, you know,
have you not gone through the whole phase? I mean, being that you've lived quite a life.
I've never went through that.
What is the whole phase? What is your definition
we
of the whole
have
phase?
clip later on, right? We're going to hear people actually talking about this and saying to us what is a whole phase.
Yeah.
Maybe we have different definitions of what is a whole phase. Like, is a player a whole? Or is it just...
Some people would argue that the fuckboy phase is the male equivalent of a whole phase.
Someone mentions that the male version of whole phase is actually with a guy being a fuckboy.
Let me ask you, what's your definition of the whole phase?
Whole phase is just when you decide to be a whole for a particular period of time in your life.
Whether it's 1 week or 2 years.
It doesn't matter. It could be a month, it could be a year, or you just sleep around with different men or women and you choose to be a whole.
Have you gone through the whole phase?
Absolutely not. I'm a God-fearing child.
Aren't we all?
So we got some of your comments.
Yes.
There's comments that came through on Twitter on that poll, which you must keep on voting on. Ed _95 says, past 3 years or so. Still going strong. And then it's Master Q's just says, what a question. And then let me see, Amandla Matu says, I've never had a whole face. I don't think I ever will. And we have a comment here. We were supposed to interview this lady that I would refer to as a reformed hoe. But she did
by
not
her
come
own
to the show
admission.
today. By her own admission, by the way. She was prepared to come speak to us on the show.
And then her
Because
phone fell and
she tweeted that she actually is over now, is over her whole face. Whatever. But I don't think she is. Otherwise
What
she'd be
makes
here.
you say she's not over her whole phase? Also, I mean, it would have been pretty interesting to find out, how do you just get over your whole phase? Do you wake up one morning, you know, you prayed, or Jesus came to you in a dream and said, stop? How does the whole phase end? Can it actually end? Or this clean phase? Do you go to a clean phase?
You go to rehab, or you find yourself just a good man, and then that's it, we must forget about it. How does it work actually? And how does it impact on your reputation as well? I mean, if you walk around the town and people know Helen as a hoe,
and you become that hoe over there, how does that affect you going forward? But nonetheless, giving you a sneak peek of what we have to offer today, we are going to be chatting to our game changer of the week, who is a writer, motivational speaker, all-round exceptional linguist. He goes by the name of Ace Moloi, all the way from Kwakwa, currently based here in the city of Roses.
so while we, before we do that as well, do check us out on social media. We're very, very active right now. Facebook, our official page is called Shaxe and Helen Show. And then Twitter, it's Shaxe and Helen FB. And then individually, I'm at Shaxe Kumalo on Twitter.
And I am at Miss Helen _N. We are also going to be chatting to the CCIFSA provincial coordinator, Mr. Ayanda Rada. And of course, we close off the show with another exceptional talent from Bloemfontein. We had him on the show when we broadcast from Kosher, except then the focus was on Mike Tech.
Yes,
he was being featured. This time around, we are chatting to K.Set, and it's all about his work and his latest single, which is called Pardon Me.
And we're going to be giving you, checking in into the poll that we have running on Twitter right now. On our Twitter page, it's called Shaxe and Helen, at Shaxe and Helen FB. Our poll says, have you been through the whole phase? And the first reply is yes, who hasn't? Second one is no. The third one is what's that? So we'd like to actually hear from you what you say about this whole thing of the whole phase.
I'm actually interested as well is when this whole phase kicks in, because can you imagine you get married and then 2 weeks later you have urges, like you've just got urges and this whole phase is just in your system.
But I've heard as well that a lot of girls that have been named hoes do get married. Like in Bloem, you'd have this girl who's known for that. Some guy from out of town comes in and he just falls in love with her. He doesn't know much about her. He doesn't care about her past. And they just marry them. Is it fair to actually judge you on what you used to do 10 years ago as well?
Well, I suppose it also does depend on how long ago. But I do know a lot of, do I call them reformed hoes or
yes, the reformed
dormant hoes? Maybe the whole gene, or it's repressive, it's waiting to come out. But I know a lot who have gotten married, and you find on the wedding day, girls is not trying to walk down the aisle. 2 weeks later, they're having issues. So I know quite a bit, their marriage is not always so successful. And a lot of the times you find we live in an age where people are living for the gram.
Which is sad.
People are living for the gram, and because that hoe over there got married, I now need to get married, and you're stuck, and these girls get beaten, and the relationship goes to hell because you are competing on the gram.
And that's where you find a lot of the girlfriend experiences, because there's guys offering girls there all this opportunities. Like,
look, if you see a picture of somebody in Dubai, just ask questions. Dubai
or Cape Town.
You must ask questions.
And this girl, all she does is to really just sell her life, and she's living this extraordinary life.
And you'll never see who takes the photos. You will never see the old man behind that camera.
And again, people are saying they're living their lives YOLO. You only live once. So I suppose if it makes you tick, it makes you happy.
Yeah, when you're 21 and then you get to 25 and you've got all kinds of sexually transmitted diseases, ain't nobody trying to look at you. You look like you are 75 because #makeup, Dubai sun, Dubai eyebrows. Ooh, hi, girls.
And if you just joined us right now, this is the Shaxe and Helen Show, and today we are coming to you live from Boho Bistro in West Dean. Later on, by the way, the Sunday today we've got fast taking place at Cubana, so
yes, Fresh Urban
us.
Sundays.
Come chill with us right now.
If you have not heard of Fresh Urban Sundays, listen, you are way behind. Check us out. We're at Cubana. 2-night Misters is on the 1s and 2s while the rest of us get to relax. He's working, so come through, enjoy him working. Shameless plug, I hope I get a check. But if you're following us on social media, the hashtag to use is Shaxe and Helen Show. Like we said, on Twitter and Instagram, at Shaxe Kumalo and at Miss Helen N. Our show Twitter account is at Shaxe and Helen FB. And of course, we do come to you live on our Facebook page,
Yes.
which is the Shaxe and Helen Show. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you're in Bloemfontein, come through to Boho Bistro on the corner of Kellner and 2nd Avenue. Join us for some pre-drinks or just for a laugh or two. Have some fun with us. Why not?
Speaking of Facebook, we did get a couple of comments here. Vusi Majala says, Joey, Koma. And then Eben Masutu, shout out to this guy, man. He's been watching the show from episode 1.
Yes.
We see you, buddy. And Chappie as well. And then Eben Masutu says, you guys are raising the bar. The visual interchanges are sick. Shout out to our team.
Shout out to you,
AKA.
Urban. He joined us as well at Kosher Sunday. He was one of our ticket winners. Super, super awesome guy. And it was an absolute pleasure, actually, to meet some of the people who watched the show. And what I love about him is he doesn't just gas us up. You know, these people that when I tell you nice things only.
Yeah.
Tell us how we can improve as well. Tell us, you know, the areas you feel we can improve upon. We really do appreciate your feedback as well.
Don't you make him our MVP, most valuable, MVL, listener, or what, something like that. Then Chappie says, wait, what? So you can't believe what we're talking about, actually. It's not us. So if you relate as a woman to that prayer that we shared with you earlier about the Goma, so please do comment. I would like to get your feedback anytime. Keep in touch. Also, tweet us, man, at Shaxe Khumalo, at Miss Helen _N, and Facebook. Twitter's page, official page is at Shaxe and Helen FB. Not sure.
Yes, FB, absolutely. We are also on Instagram, so tag us. If you spot us, feel free to take a photo. Tag us on whichever channel as well. We always do want to hear from you. And our poll as well. Have you gone through the whole phase? Answer option 1 rather. Yes, who hasn't? 2, no. 3, what's that? So we want to know from you if you have gone through the whole phase. And just taking a peep at that poll, 50% of you have gone through the whole phase. 32% say no, 18% claiming they don't know what the whole phase is. Side
So we have to also acknowledge Honorable Setswana Chabedi saying patiently waiting for Comrade Ayanda. We'll be talking to Ayanda later on. This particularly will interest you, especially if you're an artist in the featured province. You have to actually listen up for that. There's something happening tomorrow.
Yeah, it's called the Artist at Work Mangawong Indaba. And if you are a creative, whether you are a writer, whether you are a filmmaker, an actor, a dancer, if you are in the creative industry, then you absolutely want to stick around to hear our chat from the provincial coordinator, Ayanda Rada. He's going to tell us exactly what this is about and also as well how this can benefit you. I mean, we always have a lot of these dialogues and indabas, for lack of a better term. And, you know, people are always talking about how they want to improve the creative industry in Bloemfontein. What's going to be different about this one? Why should we go? Why should we pay attention to it?
Yeah. I mean, just generally speaking, there's a lot of questions asked about artists, especially in the Free State, about how are they being empowered by the government, for example? Are there, you know, programs benefiting artists as well? Makufe, every year we hear people complaining about
gigs.
Makufe.
How can you have a gig in our town and you are not using our artists? That for me is a load of bullshit, and I hope this is going to address that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you cannot have 90% of the money going out of the town. It's such a big festival. So we're going to hear from Ayanda later on about that and our game changer as well. If you're from Kwakwa, you might know.
Yes, I've been wanting to say that all day, you know.
When there is
no, because the taverns at Kwakwa are nice. They're beautiful, they're calm, they're peaceful. I know many people. Shaxe, do you want to expose me? What if I've also gone through the whole phase and my people are in the taverns at Kwakwa? You never know. You never know. But of course, that is going to be super, super exciting to talk to him. In particular, because we do also have some teammates who are from Kwakwa. Our producer, Max, who's actually sitting in the mountains there.
Even your boyfriend?
No, Max. Max is from Kwakwa. Max is not my boyfriend. Why are we talking about Tank? I'm still getting there. I'm still talking about Max. How? I'm still talking about Max.
What?
Don't enter me in the mouth. The keys are with me, so who will robala kantle? And of course, our visual artist, most people know him from Photography Friday. The great thing is we get free pictures.
Yeah, but now seeing that we'll actually never get to have our guest come in the studio to speak about the whole face, our recovered whole. I think we must jump to the clip that we have where we went to the streets to actually have a chat with people and ask them to share with us how they define the term
Whole face, exactly. And there were some really, really interesting definitions of the whole face. We are going to be playing you the clip. We got some definitions from some males, females. Yep. You absolutely want to hear what you feel the whole face is all about. Let's check out that clip.
I'd say a whole face would be something that I'm currently going through because I just got out of a string of relationships that didn't work out, and I just thought maybe I should just kick back, relax, and just hoe around. Like basically meet different chicks and have nothing official and just have sex, and yeah, that's it. And I think I'll probably get back to my normal self once I've like gotten over this whole thing where I'm just like, okay, sex is cool and all, but I'm over it. I've done all different types of chicks, and what I want is something that's solid, and I think it's better to just let it happen organically through dating different chicks, and you'll find a straight one from there on.
So basically a whole phase is a phase where you sleep with anyone that you want to sleep with whenever you want to do it, and you don't really care about morals or what other people think. You're basically in control of your own genitals, and you do whatever you want to do with them without really caring about what other people think.
With my understanding, a whole phase is before and after a relationship. It can never be during a relationship, because then you are a hoe for real. Like, what are you doing? It's basically having fun, experimenting with different people, meeting new people, living your best life. Do I know anyone who has been in a hoe phase? I know a lot of people. I think it's a way of life at this point. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. Oh man, it's life, it happens.
Okay, a whole phase is a time in your life when you're not trying to be committed. It's after maybe a heartbreak or whatever, and you just want to have fun, meet new people, maybe sleep around even. So yeah, it happens both ways. Males and females go through it. But I think males, a hoe phase is a fuckboy phase. For hoes, it's like, okay, because obviously a girl is called a hoe, so she goes through a phase where she just has multiple guys, guys to buy her food, guys to give her money. It's a hoe phase, just hoeing around.
Through these phases, why contain it? They say I am crazy, I am blazing through these phases. Why contain?
Right, now, if you have your own definition right now, please comment below and share with us if you have your own.
Yeah, tell us actually, have you been through the whole phase? If you have,
be honest.
At what point? I mean, was it fresh out of high school? Was it varsity? Was it, working?
But you know what I've heard though? Like, can it ever happen that your ex can frustrate you so much, you end up choosing to become a hoe? Is that possible?
I think it is. I have a friend who's gone through that. She had such a horrible relationship that she decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to hoe phase it. Which is not to say she slept with every guy that she came across, but she mingled a lot.
Is having a booty call
well, it depends how many booty calls you're having. If you've got a booty call every second night, then I think it's safe to say, Shaxe, you are going through the whole phase.
Right. I don't have a booty. I'm just asking.
We're not judging.
I'm asking for a friend.
We're not judging. Check out our Twitter feed as well. Shaxe and Helen FB. Have you been through the whole phase? 48% of you say yes. 33% say no. And 20% asking, what's that? Claiming that they don't know what the whole phase is. We know
you know.
We see you.
All right. Let's get into the segment where we have our game changer coming through. We'll be speaking to Ace, right?
Yes, Ace Moloi is his name.
In the Free State. And he's got a book. That's dope, man.
His book, it's his second book actually. It's a memoir to his late mother, which is called Holding My Breath. And he's not just an author, but he's a motivational speaker as well. I know he holds a number of writers' workshops at the University of the Free State on the campus for journalism and communication sciences students. So he's plowing back as well and nurturing young aspirant writers as well, which is actually phenomenal.
So maybe you're sitting there right now, you've read a book, you don't know where to start about getting the book published. Please, by any means, tune in. We'll be sharing with you. If you love this right now, share with your Facebook friends that they must watch, man. This happens only once a week. It's called Shaxe and Helen Live. It's the first Facebook radio show happening in
Visual
the world.
radio.
Visual radio show in the world. Okay.
Yeah, and you can follow us across all social media channels. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter as well. The hashtag to use is Shaxe and Helen Show. Find us individually as well at Miss Helen _N and at Shakes Kumalo. We are live from Boho Bistro today. Later on, we're heading just up the street to Cubana for what we know as Fuss, also called Fresh Urban Sundays, and Shakes is on the ones and twos. You see, we got that Boho service.
This is Boho speciality, by the way, man. This jar. Gents, this jar.
This
if you
jar.
If you have that girl who's, when you pick her up, she says she's bringing her friends. You must get them 4 of these jars, then it's game over.
There we go. Putting up.
Yeah. Right now we'd like to welcome Ace Moloi to the show. How are you, sir? I'm very well. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you for skipping church.
Thank you
for
so
us.
very much.
You skip church to come to us.
You know, priorities. Priorities.
I know.
But Shakes, get it. Shakes, listen to me. I want to interview you.
Hey,
Like you can write. Like you can write. My bad. Ace, let's get right into it. Your book right here, which I've put up, Holding My Breath, right? It's a memoir to your late mother.
Yes.
It's also your second book.
Yes.
Why? Why did you opt to write a memoir?
Look, I think the first thing that made me to write the book is because I felt that I had a story to tell. And as someone who has a story to tell, then I couldn't allow my age or my list of accomplishments to stand in between my narrative. Because a lot of people have been asking me, but why are you so young and you're writing your story? And I wanted to celebrate my mother. I wanted to celebrate the strength of single mothers. But I also wanted to talk about life in the villages, especially being from Kwakwa.
Yes.
You know, where a lot of writers, when they write about Soweto, they write about Joburg and Cape Town, and very few narratives actually come from the Free State.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to bully myself with those kinds of things, like I need to wait for a particular time. So in the book, for example, you'd find themes such as, absent fathers. You'd find themes such as why fees should fall as a person that had to come to university having gone through a number of complications, financial complications. So you find those kind of things about even transformation itself.
Which are relatable.
Which are relatable, and I felt those are things that were timely as well. So you couldn't postpone those kinds of things to say, let me be 40 and then I'll go 20 years back and talk about Professor Jansen when he's no longer relevant at that point. Yes.
Because I think we also have a general notion in the public eyes that the older you are, the better equipped you are to write a book, for example.
Yes.
And if you just now you are proof that is nonsense. It shouldn't be like that.
No, it's not applicable at all. I mean, a book is about the story you have.
Sure.
Yeah.
So there's someone who can live for 10 years and experience things that are far more interesting than someone who has lived for 50 years. And so it doesn't mean that longevity itself, sort of guarantees the quality
there's some
of life.
CEOs who can't tell anything about their life.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Now, Ace, I want to touch on the reception of the book. I mean, like you said, you're from Kwakwa. This is Free State is your home, and I know you go through a lot of PR activities. I know you've got the book signings on campus, for instance. I'm interested in the reception from Batho ba Mona, from the Free State. What's the reception been like?
Look, I think it's somewhere between amazing and could be better, or something like that. Because what happens is I get a lot of support in the Free State, in Bloemfontein. Our bookstores in the Free State are always sold out.
Oh, nice.
From exclusive books to Fanskyke,
Shout out to them, man.
Shout out.
They always sold out. And I think at exclusive books, in about 4 weeks, when the book came out last year, we were able to sell over 100 copies. And the book launch itself was sold out. And they couldn't believe it themselves. I mean, they had a number of authors that came who were more famous and who were professors, and their launches did not sell. And mine was sold out, and they took probably over 25 book orders from the people that couldn't get the copies on that particular day. So in the Free State, it's quite interesting and it's amazing. And I think the other thing that then works for me is that I'm probably the only one right now who is commercially published. So then that means I stand out in that kind of a way to say.
So commercially published meaning you're making money out of your books?
Not necessarily, but it means you've been published by a company, more like you have a record deal.
Okay, like
you,
by a
you
publishing
don't
company.
you don't sell your music at the boot of your car,
yeah.
but you have a recording company that has
You're not
distribution.
hustling.
Yeah, you're not hustling. So,
As they would say.
so I think that has some kind of validation
For sure.
in terms of art and your potential,
Yeah.
but also exposure and distribution and those kinds
Yeah.
of
The
things.
process of getting there, because sometimes we were talking earlier with Helen about someone is sitting right now and watching you, and they're probably saying that I have a book. I'm sitting at home because everything requires money these days.
Yeah.
Where do you start when you have the what do you
Between
call
writing the book
just
actually and
rough
it
structure,
being
an idea?
in a shop.
Look, for me, to get my book in the bookstore, it was part of the packaging, the publishing deal.
How did you
Which
get the publishing
includes,
first? How did you get the
yes,
publishing?
because I want to get to that point then,
Okay.
because it's the tricky one.
Yes.
When you write a book, the first thing you need to know is who can publish this kind of book. So you don't write the book and then when it's done, you're like, so who can publish this book? It's like job hunting. So you know which potential publishers, and you already start communicating with them, and you approach them, and you give them your manuscript, which is what I did. I wrote my book knowing that I wanted to be published by Jacana, by Tabiso, and that's exactly what happened in that kind of way. So a lot of people these days write self-help or religious books. And so when you do that kind of, it's like a biblical regurgitation of everything from Genesis. Unfortunately, it's not considered that much of an art in terms of publishing. So you're going to struggle to get that.
Recording a gospel song.
It's basically like that. It's like going through the book of Hosanna and, Tumelo ke Thebe, and then it's like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I wouldn't say there's necessarily one strict way, because there are people that manage to get their books in bookstores, even though they are self-published. But it's when you carry a big name.
Yeah.
So if you're already a radio presenter and you'll say, I have a following and my book is going to sell here, and then it ends up selling.
Interesting.
Now, I want to ask as well, people seem to think it's that easy to write a book. Everybody is on time, I'm writing a book, I'm writing my life story. Is it really that easy? I mean, like you talked about the challenges with finding a publisher. Is it really as easy as some people would have us believe writing a book is?
No. Writing a book, or the process itself, is complicated in two ways. The first one, it's about the art, right? So, which means it doesn't matter what kind of book you're writing, as long as you obey the principles of the art.
Yeah.
You must know how to write. You must know how to write.
That skill must be there.
The skill must be there.
Right.
Whether you're writing self-help or you're writing fiction,
Yeah.
there must be that respect for the art. In the same way, whether you're a feminist poet or a Christian poet or whatever,
Yeah.
the bottom line is poetry, and therefore you must always be a poet, irrespective of what your poetry wants to achieve. So then it's not easy in that way to write a book, because people that think it's easy end up disrespecting and undermining the art. And then the other part then from art is to sell. So you find people that are talented who can really be self-absorbed and write books. Then when you're done, how do you get your book out there? So people are sitting with manuscripts, they're sitting with a whole lot of artistic work that is not selling because artists don't know how to market their work. So there's always that complication. So you sort of have to deal with rich or riches.
Yeah.
Do you reach a lot of people, or do you make money in terms of it? And sometimes there's no relationship. You'd find that you have a far greater reach, but it doesn't necessarily translate into riches in the sense of your bank account. So there are those complications, but it's not an easy thing.
You said this is a memoir about your mother.
Yeah, it's basically.
Is she still alive?
No.
Did she see it? Oh, okay.
It's a gift to her. She passed away in 2005.
Yeah.
So what I did,
thanks
a lot. What I did was to say, I want to tell her story, but then don't make it exclusive. Tell her story within the broader national narrative, so that when you read it, you can see your mother, you can see, and it's not even, which I think answers some other question that I always get. When you write a book and you are now 40 and you are well achieving, you are most likely to give us your CV and not your narrative.
Yes.
So
and not your life story.
And not your life story. So we're going to go through your diary. On this day, I met Nelson Mandela. he shook my
He
hand,
said A, B,
and oh
C,
my
D.
goodness, he's such a wonderful man, unlike this and this, but it's not really a narrative. And you also have a point to prove, because you're saying, but these people already know me as this, so I actually have to overcompensate, those kinds of things. So when you're writing from the purity of your story, like I think I did, you just focus on the narrative. Narrative. So that's what I wanted to do with this book.
It's amazing, actually.
It is.
So the book is available right now as you speak, right?
It's available in any bookstore that takes itself seriously.
I like
that is not on junk status.
On junk status, I like that. Ace, I want to touch on the money-making aspect. I mean, your passion is evident. I mean, we know why you do this. You plow back with your workshops and all of that. But are you actually making money from being an author? Is being an author in the Free State, not even in South Africa at large, is it financially sustainable?
No. You know, as writers, we always say that you can do it for any other reason but money. But the trick that I think we, the new school kids, have managed to learn is that you take the title of being a writer and you turn it into your core, from which everything else flows. Then you can end up making money, not by literally writing, but by being associated with writing and all that opportunities.
So the other avenues that come, the motivational speaking,
because
and
I've done talks at Allen Gray, I've been to Lesotho, Cape Town, I'm going to Swaziland, I'm going to be in almost every book festival, and then I get writing workshops and those things. So you get a lot of opportunities if you can exploit this thing of being known as so a lot of people then end up thinking you make money because you're a writer. Only to find that you are actually a bit clever enough to say, because this is the status.
Your CV.
Yeah, this
Which
is
I think should be the same principle, for all forms of art.
You can't make money directly from art, but you make money from the influence art has, and then it flows from there.
Wonderful.
And how has technology impacted? Because you get physical copies, there's electronic books as well. Has that had an impact on how your book is doing sales as well?
Not really. I mean, I haven't been able to check as to whether we've sold, any ebooks. But I think I'll check. But look, the people that love books traditionally.
Yes, I am the
same.
And we want to hug a book, not your phone.
Not scroll.
I have
scroll.
someone on Facebook asking now, Chappie, if you don't have an audio book for people like him who's lazy to read.
No, what I do have is the kind of writing style that can make you be energized.
So you want to go
read,
to the next page?
To read, yes,
all
because
right.
I think that's where the challenge also is.
Chappie,
And a braille option, now that he's talking about that, you might have somebody with a visual impairment that wants to read your book. Are there those options available, or is it something you're looking into?
I think it's something, what's the challenge in terms of publishing, right? It's that able-bodied people themselves who don't have any kind of impairment have not necessarily resulted in that kind of growth in reading to a point that you can explore other avenues. So when we reach a point, I think, where we can say everyone who is able-bodied now loves books, then let's start talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, because the demand is still there with people that have no impairment, but they're not necessarily doing anything.
Right. The time is flying, it's crazy. You're speaking to Ace Moloi right now. He's got a book out right now in stores. It's called Holding My Breath.
Yes.
Mr. Moloi, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks for having
and
me.
hopefully next time when you come in, you'll be having some award of some sort.
Yeah, definitely. And the bestseller sticker there.
Yes,
absolutely.
Sold out.
Yes, sold out everywhere.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks for having me.
Holding My Breath.
So when you
is
do
the
your
name of the book.
speeches around the world, when you close, you must tell them to check out Shaxe and Helen show on Facebook, by the way.
I'll definitely do that.
There
I'll treat that. yeah.
Thank you so much.
This is the Shaxe and Helen show, and we are live from Boho Bistro Arts in Bloemfontein. If you just joined us right now, I'm your host. My name is Shaxe Kumalo, and I'm with...
Of course, he doesn't fly solo. The name is Miss Helen, at @Miss_Helen_N. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. He is Shaxe Kumalo on Instagram and on Twitter. Do remember, you can also follow our page at Shaxe and Helen FB on Twitter. And our poll today is, have you been through the whole phase? 44% say yes, 36% say no, and a further 20% asking, what's that?
But the number's growing up there as well. We get more votes.
Yes,
actually.
more votes, absolutely. And if you haven't liked the Shaxe and Helen show page on Facebook, I don't know what you're waiting for, actually, because you need to tell a friend to tell a friend. This is proudly Bloemfontein. We are at Boho Bistro, which is on the corner of Kellner and 2nd Avenue. Join us for pre-drinks before we hit Fast Fresh Urban Sundays. It's a public holiday tomorrow, so there's no excuse for not joining us.
We are getting ready to actually introduce our next speaker. Tonight, you have to join us at Cumana. We are having Fast Fresh Urban Sundays. It's gonna be crazy. So if you're an artist, the next segment is definitely for you. Or maybe you know one artist who might actually find the info we're going to share with you useful. So you have to see it.
Yes, and we are going to be talking to CCIFSA. It's a mouthful, I know. Provincial co-ordinator Ayanda Rada. If you are in the creative industry, then his face is pretty familiar to you. Artists at Work Mangawong Indaba, which is taking place tomorrow, the 1st of May, and finding out exactly what that is all about and how we as creatives in Mangawong can benefit from Artists at Work Mangawong Indaba.
And if you happen to be one creative right now watching or listening to us, and you want to share your frustrations with us, by all means, you can post your questions at the bottom of the screen on Facebook. We'd like to share them with Ayanda. He'll get to actually reply to you. My good leader.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, how are you, sir?
Good, good.
All right, welcome to the show, man.
No, thanks, man.
Thank you for making time.
Now,
you can see it's from church, so it's fine. The service is out now.
You know, I think we should actually just say, you know, the Shaxe and Helen show is growing and people come dressed to impress.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for joining us. Ayanda, I think let's get right to it. Artists at Work Mangawong Indaba. It's taking place tomorrow.
Yes.
What is that all about?
Yeah, firstly, thank you very much for inviting me to the show. Arts Indaba, it's art at work. Actually, artists ourselves, we are not recognized as workers in this beautiful country that we vote for these leaders each and every year after 5 years. So we then took a decision to say we need to come out as artists, as a structure to say, can you recognize as workers? Can we have UIF? Can we have unemployment insurance funds? Can we have your medical aid? Can we have all these benefits that doctors, teachers, and whoever are getting, you know?
So we can qualify to buy houses and cars as well.
You know, so that we can go to a bank and say, can you give me a loan, you know? And then you take out your pay slip and then give it to them. They check it and then they decide, so no, Shaxe is going to qualify for maybe for a range or whatever car it is. But again, what we want to achieve tomorrow is to say, this is what we have done as a structure. On your behalf, without even notifying you, some of you, we went and engaged with the Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation. We went and engaged with different stakeholders, such as municipality, such as PECOFs, you know. And some of the things that I can just mention is to say, we have agreed with PECOFs that 80% of the budget artistical should remain in the province.
Absolutely.
You know, it's one of the achievements that we need to say, guys, this is one of the job creation that we have done for you. We have agreed with the MEC of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation to say 20% of Makufe should remain in the province.
I was about to go
you know, literally, not to say it should remain in the province in terms of saying, no, we have booked Shaxe to go and perform there. We want to see the 20% in terms of money. Converting it to say, is it 20%, 20 million? No, not exposure. As I'm saying, we want to put it clear to say, when you say 20%, is it 20 million or is it 15 million? Did Shaxe get maybe 50 to 100,000, you know, in that particular DJ gig that you received? Again, the other thing is to say the issue of municipality. We don't have a creative policy in municipality. Hence, it's difficult for them to fund you. Hence, it's difficult for them to have programs yearly from January till December because there is no way they derive your funding if they want to fund you. Hence, they are funding only one person in the Free State. You don't even understand how, but we are not going to mention names, you know.
So they know themselves. They're watching us.
They know themselves, yeah. So we are not saying what they're doing is wrong. Yeah. They're saying, guys, can we share this pie equally, all of us?
Because we can all actually get something out of it.
You know.
Now, Helen skipped the part where she was asking me about what does CCIFSA
stand for, and what do you do? I think as well for those watching and listening who don't necessarily know where what
and tell us your role as well in the organization.
Okay, no, it's fine. It's Creative and Cultural Industry Federation of South Africa. Yeah, the structure was formed by the Honorable President Jacob Zuma to say when the government wants to speak to us, they don't know who to approach. You know, they don't know who are these people actually. But after their death, there's this thing of saying we die as paupers. And he was saying he's tired of that thing, to say, guys,
Say
we are always begging again. Hence, we are saying, as at work, we are working, we are workers, we are creative workers. They should put it like that in legislation, in their policies, to say we are cultural workers. So our role is to advocate and lobby for artists across the country. I'm the provincial coordinator in the province, and our president is Comrade Tony Khoroge. Yes.
But having said that, you're going to be lobbying for artists. I'm one of the artists, by the way, as you may know. Are you... Because I've been to meetings before, you know that.
I know.
Meetings and
Upon
nothing comes out of it.
Yes.
Like you said, that some of us don't even know that you guys are talking on our behalf.
True.
Are you identifying the active artists in the province and say that, we know Helen has been doing this, Mamang is doing this, Mamang is doing this. Are you taking it upon yourself to identify the people that should be benefiting from this program?
Yes, no. Okay, in that way, you remember, Shaxe, we had an event. A beach party, and we don't know what happened with it. But some of us who are in this business as promoters, we know that funding was a challenge. A certain person decided not to release funds because of their own personal vendetta with you. The reason, let me come to your question. The reason why we went and speak to the government first without informing you, we informed some of the artists. They came to our meetings because we received the same consent to say artists, they have attended meetings.
Yes, and nothing comes out of it.
And nothing comes out of that. We said, no, it's fine. Let's meet as few as we are. Let's identify leaders whom will spend their own money and petrol and resources and time to go and talk on behalf of these ones that are tired of attending meetings. So that when we go back to artists, we go back with these things that I've just mentioned. Plan of action to say, we have achieved 1, 2, 3, 4. Issue of municipality have not having programs. It's because of the same thing. They don't have a police. You can't fight municipality and say they are not funding you. But where do we get a mandate to fund you? There's no such. But they've agreed.
But when you come with, let's say, provincial government.
Yes.
When they come to you and they report and they show you that they spend 25 million on artist development.
Yes.
And you look around.
And you
There's
don't see
nothing.
the
You don't see
development.
who actually got that money.
True.
Is that
Or
what you're
actually,
trying to
you
make
know
sure
that
one
That's where we
got
come
the
in.
money?
Hence we were clear with the MEC to say our discussion should be on this percentage of this 20%. Makuve, when we met with the HOD, she said, it's 40 million or something. How are we going to get 20% there? So no, you just say 100 multiplied by 40 million and divide. That's where you get. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. And then we take that 20%. We identify people that are working on daily basis. It's easy. We know each other. We know each other. We're not going to buy face. We know each other.
We deserve to be there.
We deserve to be there. I've met Helen once, and I didn't thought of her to come and MC on my show.
And I was not paid with exposure. I must say. I must actually
no, we paid,
say.
we
I was
paid
not
her.
paid with exposure.
We paid her.
No, I'm mentioning it specifically because we've got this tendency because you are in Bloemfontein, nobody knows you. Come do our gig, you'll get exposure, but at the end of the day, you can't really pay your bills with exposure.
There was a debate about what is a reasonable rate to pay local.
Yes.
Because every time, some people, they would ask for a quotation, you give them your quote, no, but you're expensive. But someone from Joburg charges 5 times what you ask for.
Plus accommodation and travel.
And you know what I mean? And they are willing to pay them to actually come for an hour show up 5 minutes before their performance, and leave afterwards. Right.
True.
Now there's a debate about, are you guys working towards regulating the industry and saying that as government, as clubs, for example, as people organizing festivals, let's have a standard figure where we say, at least this is a
The minimum,
yeah. That you should actually do.
Yeah. Actually, CCIFSA, one of the things that I didn't mention, the reason why it was so much was just to regulate the industry, like you're saying. Rona in Mangaung and in the Free State, we're already engaging on a policy of saying, if you are a local DJ, can we start with you at 10,000? Can we go to 15? Can we go to 25? And these are the artists that we know. We'll categorize them under 15, categorize them under 20,000. Actually, what we are saying is to say any artist that we know that is working or she's working in the Free State must not get paid below 10,000. When I write emails to this festival that are happening, like I wrote an email to a festival that happened last night, Freedom in Our Lifetime. I told them, can we encourage those promoters to pay more than 50,000 each and every artist there? I was clear on that particular figure. So that's what we are doing. We don't have a standard rate. for now.
So I want to demand the 50,000 that you just
15,
mentioned.
1-5.
Okay. Let's make it 50.
Yes, that's what I've said. You know, because we know those people how much they're getting.
Yeah.
Now we know how much
That's
they're getting. You know, they cannot lie to us.
But are you winning with the government, especially in terms of bring up these issues? Because sometimes you find guys who have no interest in government as well.
They also got their own agendas.
They got their own agendas. Sometimes they feel like, no, like but Ayanda fella
No, to be honest, our Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation, the MEC, I'm not buying a phase. She is giving us an audience, including the new HOD, Lena, the same thing, and also Pekovs, the new team, their management, which is the artistic director and the CEO. And also municipality. It's something that I don't know why these things were not happening. I really don't know why before these things were not happening. But now they are giving us an audience. The MEC, she has agreed in principle to say, okay, it's fine. She was actually fighting for 50%. And she said, if she wins that 50%, can we come and support her into the exco? I said, no problem. Now I'll come. I'll put my suit. I'll come and present in terms of the premier to say, we need 50%. But we need to start with 20% so that we don't get ourselves frustrated.
Yeah.
You know,
And build from there.
and go and build from there and go for 50%. Yeah.
Now, if
So we are winning.
Someone is watching it, I know as well, and they want to probably engage further with Ayanda.
Ayanda.
We don't have the whole 2 hours to speak to you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
How do they get hold of you?
Can they come tomorrow at 10 o'clock at Civic?
10 o'clock at the Civic Theatre.
At Civic Theatre in Bloemfontein, not far from the provincial building. No, 10.
10 a.m.
10
It's a holiday tomorrow, so
yeah,
come.
it's a holiday.
Yeah.
Yes.
10 a.m. at the Civic Theatre tomorrow in Bloemfontein. Ayanda, just to close off, why are you doing this? You know, we've heard you talk about fighting for creatives and the creative industry as a whole. Why? What's in it for you?
It's the issue. It's the issue of a black child. Where'd you get that?
He's going to album so 10 goes.
And I decided to quit.
Both you and this music business. Shakes once upon a time was in a boy band. At least we saw his album. How? You guy. It's on Mix It somewhere.
Yeah. No, it's an issue of a black child not getting what belongs to him or her to her. Basically, hence some of us we decided to say we are going to drop our careers and create a conducive environment for our artists, not only black and white, but at the main, I don't want to lie to you, a black child needs to get what belongs to him or her.
True.
So some of us have sacrificed, but we are doing businesses aside to push the struggle. So that's the
fighting
reason.
for the land, that's how come on, it's
You know, fighting for us creators, fighting for the land, fighting everywhere. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ayanda.
Of course,
Thanks,
all the
Ignas.
best
Yeah,
going forward. Artists at Work Mangawung in Dawa taking place tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the Civic Theatre in Bloemfontein.
We're going to be there.
Yeah, we'll
Please,
absolutely be there.
please.
So we can also give you feedback on that. But like he said, if you do want to ask him some questions about the Civic Theatre tomorrow, 10 a.m. Otherwise, find him on Facebook. Ayanda Rada is the name.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a lovely day.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you
the
so
Shaxe and
much.
Helen show. Today we are live from Boho Bistro out in Bloemfontein. Thank
I'm a
you for
politician.
watching.
I can't do these things.
Just went us right now. It's been crazy, man.
Yeah, it's been absolutely interesting. We spoke to Ace Moloi, who is the author of this book. I made sure I keep it here so you can all see. We must punt our people. I'm going to steal it. Holding my I've just said I'm going to steal it. That's my contribution. Holding My Breath by Ace Moloi all the way from Guadpa. And if you are actually from Guadpa, hint Tank, hint Max, our producer, you've got no excuse not to buy this book and support your brother in the mountains.
K.Set. We want K.Set now to come through, right?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we ran a poll on our Twitter page, which is the Shaxe and Helen FB. The question we had today is, have you been through the whole phase? First question is yes. Who hasn't?
That's my first
44% of
question
you.
for K.Set.
And then the next one is no, 36%. And what's that? That is at 20%.
So you can still take part in that poll at Shaxe and Helen FB. You can also like our Facebook page, which is Shaxe and Helen Show. Find us on Instagram as well, our individual accounts. He is Shakes Kumalo with an X, not Shakes Soccer Player, K-E-S.
Yep.
And of course, I am at Miss Helen _N. We are at Bistro. Free drinks over here before we head fast tonight. Fresh Urban Sundays. If you are in Bloemfontein and you're not there tonight, I shame.
And on the topic of Comrade Ayanda, who was here, Shamaine Kolwani on Facebook says, Leadership, we are excited to meet tomorrow and deliberate on issues of artists. And Khuitimang Polo says, dress to kill Comrade Ayanda.
Yes, Ntate Khuitsi Polo, who is from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. And I know Charmaine is quite active as a creative. She had a show earlier on. She's a poet. She is an author. She also has a monthly book club. So she's doing quite exciting things in the industry as well, along with the likes of Jaros and Hector. Just putting poetry on the map because people think it's boring.
They're getting there. They're doing well, actually.
It's become more like theater. You know, when you watch their shows, people tend to think it's all about Shakespeare and thy, thou, who. No. No, not anymore. Speaking of poetry, moving to musical poetry through hip-hop.
That's good.
Welcome back.
The second time, dude. Hey, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, and you?
I'm all right, homie. Welcome to the show, man.
You. This time
I'm good.
All on K.Set.
Yeah.
But before we actually get into the questions, I have to ask you. Our poll today is: have you been through the whole phase? Have you been through the whole phase?
No, not exactly. I really haven't, eh?
You haven't?
I really haven't.
Are you yet to?
I don't know. A part of me wants to, a part of me is like, nah, just let it go.
What's your definition of a whole phase, actually? Let me ask that.
There. Okay. It's basically saying, you know what? Let's leave the morals out of the equation. Let's throw them out the window. And let's just, you know,
go crazy.
Let's go crazy, wild out. Let's fuss.
Let's eat our youth.
Let's fuss, yeah.
You know, Shakes fuss is the devil. We all know what happens in the devil's playground.
All right, K.Set,
yeah.
First time when I heard you on stage, I think it was at Ramblers.
Yeah.
Something happened in there.
Yeah.
You had this song, man.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
I literally stood up, went to watch the show alone, watch him perform, because I was so touched, man.
Yeah.
When did you start with the art of hip-hop?
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something. Like, I don't know when I started with hip-hop exactly. I can tell you when I started with music, you know, and that was like back in grade 3 or something, you know what I mean? I just loved the idea of entertaining, of performing, you know what I mean? And we started writing music way back then. It only developed into hip-hop like later, I think around my grade 7, you know what I mean?
What you listening to?
You know, the first
that got your attention.
Eminem. Has to be. Eminem, I remember, like I was like, this guy's crazy, you know what I mean? Like the way people were able to tell stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I like this, I want to do this, you know what I mean? That was my first real encounter with hip-hop. Yeah.
How would you categorize your type of hip-hop? I mean, you get some that are trap influenced, you get, you know, the turn-up type, you get the more conscious. How would you describe the type of hip-hop you make?
I have 3 words to describe it,
okay.
Right? I just call it real to me. The reason why I call it real to me is because I always say like how I feel like at that time. If I feel like I need to address something, then I'll address it. If I feel like I need to make a song, it's really not that deep. Just make a good song. I'll make a good song. If I feel like, you know, we need to turn up, then just turn up. You know what I mean? But it's real to me. It's how I feel at that point in time. I'll make music according to that. So I've like strayed away from trying to put pressure on myself and saying, okay, this is what radio wants. Let's make what radio wants. Or people are expecting you to be deep, and then so be deep. Or I don't play those games. Yeah.
I saw something on Twitter.
Yeah.
I stand to be corrected here. In your new song, that you're calling out King O. Is that true?
It is true. Yes, it is.
Okay. Why?
It is.
Let's talk about it right now.
Well, the song is out there.
No, I really don't mind talking about it because before I put out the song, I had like carefully thought about this whole thing. You know what I mean? And well, basically, I'm calling out King O. You know what I mean? And it's not an emotional thing at all. It's like the result of this, the thing that happened for me to do this, happened actually last year. So it's been a while.
What happened? What's the line saying? Let's recap the line.
Yes, give us the line and then give us the backstory.
About him.
There's a lot, but
it's a song about him.
No, it's not a song about him. Listen, it's a song, and then on the 3rd verse, I'm like talking to this guy.
What does it say?
What does it say?
I'm saying that King O should pay niggas. Okay. I wish that you would pay niggas and stop balling with our money. You know what I mean? I'm basically saying, you know what, this guy's he does owe me money. But it's more than just that. Okay. It's not just about the money. It's about this guy's level of disrespect. You know what I mean? This guy is not respectful to artists. And on top of that, he goes and says, support Bloem artists. You know what I mean? He's got this hashtag and this page that he started and whatnot and whatnot. And I'm looking at it like, why would you even say that if you can't even do right by the artists that you claim to protest? No, it's not that. it's not that.
Well,
man,
like he said, he makes music that's real to him. He felt it, he wrote it.
I mean...
And honestly, I feel like there's nothing wrong with it because we tend to hide a bit and people are not necessarily honest in their music. That's why they rap about bitches and cars they don't have.
While on that addressing someone, who do you think should quit in Bloem? A rapper that you think should quit? Personally speaking, like honestly?
No, I haven't thought about that.
I know
honestly,
you
honestly.
But we know
honestly,
there's at least two names.
Okay, who do you not listen to in Bloem but you know they're rapping?
Shaxe is trying to get me in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, if you can call somebody out in a
man, listen, man, this is different. The reason why I call this guy out is because he disrespected me personally.
It's fine.
I can't go out of my way to now, you know.
But this person is disrespecting hip-hop by releasing whack music.
I asked Tiger the same question. Tiger said, this guy is my boy, and I told him to stick to graphics and stop rapping.
But I won't say his name because he's mourning currently.
You know what I mean?
That's what he said.
So I'm asking this, it doesn't mean you hate them?
No way, Shaxe.
So no, if you're not a dope hip-hop act,
people that I don't listen to. Like I know for a fact.
Who do you think is whack then? Not quit. Who's whack?
Give us three in no particular order. Yeah, 3 whack rappers from Bloemfontein.
No, I can't. Come on, guys. Don't do
Who
this
don't you? Oh, come on, K.Set. You had to know we were going to
go on. Pardon me. What is it about, man?
It's basically
besides the part of King O.
Yeah, besides the part of King O, it's basically me just reflecting. I mean, on the song I talk about like what happened over the last since 2014, basically, and I'm like, I remember when I started this whole thing, it was just me and Prime. Sure. You know what I mean? And we were in Prime studio, and we were recording, and we didn't really know what was gonna happen. And I'm like, damn, we actually came a long way. A lot has happened since then, And I'm looking at the guys, even from Hometown Glory. There's a song that we did, Hometown Glory, was me, Kwanzaa, Stino, and Prime. You know what I mean?
I remember that.
So I recall those times, and I'm like, look at the guys now. You know what I mean? Everyone is like doing different things, and we've all grown since then, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
And then I remembered King O.
Right at the end. So
right.
I want to talk about your performances and what inspires your performance. I'll be honest and say, initially, I wasn't really sold on your music until I saw you live.
Yeah. Where was this, may I ask?
Where did I see you live? I don't remember where the first time I saw you live was.
No,
you had a band.
You
had a band and everything, and that sold me. And then I saw Nature's show as well, and that just, I was sold.
Yeah.
What inspires your performance? Especially as a hip-hop act, to have, a band and not just stick to a DJ or booty shakers as is the norm.
Look, man, I'm inspired by guys that do this thing for real, you know what I mean? People that put out, like, I watch a lot, like, I saw AKA live, I think it was a year or two back, you know what I mean? And he already started his band thing, And I'm like, this is so dope. Because I was like a skeptic, so I went to the AKA show, and I stood right at the back, and I was like, let's see what this is about, you know what I mean? At the end of the show, I was right in front, and I'm like, I remember also watching on YouTube, like, Jay-Z shows and whatnot, and some of the songs I wasn't, sold on, and then I saw the live performance, and I'm like, how quick people can shift by watching you live perform. People could actually change their mind about you by seeing you live, and so I realized at that point in time how important a live performance is, and I knew, another thing, I knew, being a guy like me, I don't get like much, like a lot of bookings, you know what I mean? So I knew that if I get a chance to impress, I need to make sure that you remember. Because I don't know when you're going to see me again.
Right.
And I'm glad you touched on that, because that was my experience. And when I hear K.Set now, I see the performance in my head while I'm listening to the track. Yeah, and you're so.
We are out of time, actually, right now. So before we check out your song, right?
Before we check out your song,
show, man.
Let us
Shaxe and Helen live, Shaxe and Helen show live on Facebook. And today we're coming to you live from Boho Bistro. A big shout out to the guys at Boho Bistro for hosting us today. Later on, being a Sunday, we're out at Cubana for fresh urban Sundays. That is going to be crazy.
Absolutely. And to wrap up our poll, 43% of you say yes, you have been through the whole phase. 35% say no, and a further 22% saying, what's that?
Right. Thank you for the love. Thank you for your time. We'll see you again next week, Sunday, exactly at 4 p.m. we're going to sign out with K.Set introducing his song, man.
Pardon me. Hey, man, this is a new song that I got out. Pardon me. It's not a single. It's not an official single. It was just me putting something out. Single is coming. New music coming soon. Just watch out for that, man. Pardon me. Away. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you so much. See you at First, and of course we will post K.Set's details on our page so you can find him, find his music, and support.
And if you happen to be busy, you missed the show, you can watch the show at your own leisure time during the week or whatever. Just get some data and watch the show, man. Yeah. Otherwise, thank you for the love. We appreciate you spending every minute with us. Okay. Next week.
Pardon me.
It's just passion. I got a lot to learn, so I still be taking classes. A lot has changed since we did hometown glory. We just really did that song to give our hometown glory and to share with all of y'all our little hometown story. That's for young niggas, also godly. But this right here is unmixed and unmastered. Part of my thoughts, yeah, it's just passion. I got a lot to learn, so I still be taking classes, yeah. I just wish King O would really pay niggas. Instead you popping bottles without pay, nigga. I don't really know how y'all do it at the thoughts, but I think you should stop robbing niggas.